Hey, what's up, everybody? Listen, we are back again for another episode of Love and Verses. And I talked to you last time about Ruth and Naomi, about how they returned back to Bethlehem during barley harvest. I want to kind of pick up where we left off before. Now, I do want to say this because a lot of people are asking me the question, Pastor, where's your wife? Why isn't she on here with you? Soon and very soon, you will meet her and you will see how our relationship works, and we can together share some tips and tools with you. We're coming up on 20 years of marriage this June 2020 on June 10th. So listen, I do want to share this with you as we get started. You know, Ruth and Naomi is a very interesting story for a number of reasons. And I hope that today you will take some notes because I want to give you a lot in this short amount of time. And last time we talked about how both of them lost their husbands. All three of them, Orpah, Ruth, and Naomi, they're in Moab. OK, so they're separated from Bethlehem. Bethlehem means the house of God, a house of bread. God visited his people in that place with bread in Bethlehem. So they made up in their minds, OK, what we've lost here in Moab is just too much for us to take and to stay here. We've got to believe God for better. And so they fast forward. I want to stop right there. All of them had dealt with some relationships that ended with them, their husbands dying. So they ended premature. So all of them, you could say, had just left some dead relationships. So they decided, OK, we're going to look forward. We just believing for better. But the interesting thing, and this is where the story is so important, especially for those who are single, Ruth and Naomi were single and satisfied. They were both single and satisfied, and they were content with building their relationship with God. I want to say this. Ruth was on the rebound, and Ruth, being on the rebound, was not looking to rush into a relationship. I want you to write that down. If you are on the rebound, you should not rush into a relationship. Many of us need to give our bodies time to heal. We need to give our minds time to heal. We need to give our hearts time to heal. We need to let our emotions get back realigned properly, because if you've ever been in a relationship that ended prematurely, or it was a bad breakup, or you're a widow or a divorcee, all of those things can kind of cause you a lot of harm to your heart. So it's very important that you begin to allow yourself to get in tune with God and what he wants for your life. Now, here's what's important. Ruth is from Moab. If you know anything about Moab and you know its history, in the book of Jeremiah, God calls the prophet Jeremiah to give and pronounce judgment on Moab. Moab, they worshiped idol gods. One of their idols was the god Molech. It was a lot of idolatry in Moab. OK, so Ruth comes out of this culture. She comes out of this background. But when her husband dies, she's so attached to her mother-in-law, Naomi, that they decide to go back to Bethlehem. Now, when Orpah and Ruth first decide to follow Naomi back to Bethlehem, because that's where Naomi is from originally, Orpah decides, after Naomi says, now, girls, y'all following me, there's probably no chance that you're going to get a new husband or relationship. I have no more sons. They both were married to Naomi's sons. Her sons died. She said, you are young women. Why don't you stay here? And why don't you just maybe find a new person to do life with, a new relationship? And Orpah said, you know what? I'll holler. I'm too young to kind of ride it out with y'all blessings. And she leaves. But Ruth says, you know what? No, your God will be my God. Your people will be my people. I pronounce the very words that Ruth said at every wedding ceremony I performed. Every wedding ceremony I performed, when a man and a woman, let me get that straight. When two people, a man and a woman, come together, I always take the time to help them understand that they're intertwining their lives. And Ruth says something in Ruth chapter 1. She says, no, I am going to follow you, Naomi. Your God shall be my God. Your people shall be my people. Now, this is why this is important. Because what she does is she makes a confession of faith. She says, I am willing to follow God and let him lead me, whether or not I find love or not. I'm going to first follow the Lord. I want you to write this down. Follow the Lord first. Focus on God first. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, then all of these other things will be added. Here's where a lot of people make the mistakes, not only in looking for relationships, but also in their pursuits. Many people put God on the back burner and they pursue everything else but God. So some people pursue careers, and so they make their aim and their goal climbing the corporate ladder, trying to impress their bosses and their superiors. Then some people make their educational pursuit number one. I'm just going to get my education. I got to get myself in position. I don't have time for church. I don't have time to pray. I don't have time. And so they put all of these things before God. Some people say, you know what? I'm just so desperate. I want to find somebody. I want a relationship with somebody. And some people put themselves in situations and relationships they're not really ready for, and they find out that the relationship was not built solid because the person got with them out of convenience. They got with the person out of convenience. I believe, and you'll see me write this in the book, get my book, Love and Verses. I believe that if we let the Lord lead us, then God will lead us to the one he has for us. I want to give this to you and point this out again. Remember Adam and Eve? Remember when Adam is in the garden and God first makes Adam and he says it's not good for man to be alone. Now, I want you to catch this. Adam was in the garden with a number of different creatures. Adam was in the garden with rhinos, with chimpanzees, with monkeys, with cheetahs, with all of these different animals. And he saw that they all had a mate. Now, watch this. Adam had a longing and a hunger in his heart for a relationship. Adam had a hunger and a longing in his heart for love. What Adam didn't do was that he didn't date with a baboon. Adam didn't mate with a cheetah because none of them were suitable for him. He didn't get down with a dog. He didn't, that's bestiality. That's a whole nother subject. But the point that I want to make is, he wanted to make sure that though he had a longing in his heart, who he got with was compatible and made for him. So he waited before he dated. He waited for God to make for him the one he had for him. And God took a piece from Adam and he made, whoa, man, watch this. Adam was asleep when God takes a piece of him. And every man who is without a companion has a piece of him missing. So God takes a piece of him. So there's a piece of him missing. God takes his rib, a part of him, and then he makes the woman Eve, and he says, whoa, man, wow, this woman is beautiful. She's made for me. And God made Eve for Adam. He waited before he dated. I want to challenge somebody. It behooves you to take your time before you build a relationship with someone else. And this is where we get deeper into the story of Ruth. Because Ruth shows up to Bethlehem with Naomi during barley harvest. And it just so happened that she's gathering and gleaning grain in the field of the most eligible bachelor in Bethlehem, Boaz. Boaz is not only a balling, successful businessman, bachelor, Boaz is a kinsman redeemer. Now, this is why this is important, because you will find in the story of Ruth that Ruth could not just date anybody or get with anybody. It was required that someone in the family and the household of her deceased husband redeem her, and she built a relationship with him. Now, catch this. This man, Boaz, unbeknownst to her, is a kinsman redeemer. In fact, that's the theme that's threaded throughout the book of Ruth, kinsman redeemer. And you'll see at the closing of Ruth that Boaz is a type or shadow of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the kinsman redeemer. He redeems us. He buys us back. He gets us out of our lowly state and situation and leads us to a better life. We see that story played out in Ruth and Boaz's relationship as it builds. But the first thing you'll see is that Boaz sees her. And I want to talk to somebody. There's an old song. Have you seen her? Tell me, have you seen her? I see her face at the picture show, and I see Her everywhere I go. I might have got the lyrics off. Y'all catch the point in the drift. That wasn't my era, but to the best of my remembrance, that's how the song goes. And so in that song, he talks about, I'm looking high and low for the person that I am to love and I'm to come in a relationship with. So Ruth shows up to Boaz's field. She's gleaning grain. He sees her. Watch this. Boaz sees Ruth taking care of business. Ladies and gentlemen who are single in particular, before you build a relationship, you need to be taking care of your business. I want to talk to men who will see this. There's no sense in you trying to build a relationship with a woman and you don't have your business together. Because women like security. If I don't know nothing else, I know women like security. This is why you see pretty chicks with an ugly dude. And you're like, wow, how in the world did he get security? How in the world did he get her security? He's got resources and she can relax knowing that he can take care of her. Now, not in every situation. Some chicks just like ugly dudes. Y'all know that. But anyway, it's important before you build a relationship that you are taking care of your business. What does that look like for a man? What that looks like for Ruth was she had Naomi back at the cut, back at the house, wherever they were staying. She would go out and do the work because she was younger. Widows had it the worst in this culture. If you're a widow, you were reduced to begging. If you didn't have a man in your life in this culture, in the Middle Eastern ancient culture, men were the sole providers. So neither one of them had husbands or sons. So they had to go and get it how they lived. So Ruth goes out. She said, you know what? You're older. I'll take care of it. She goes out, gleans in the field of Boaz. They had a sort of welfare to work system in Israel during that time. All of those who owned fields and had grain, by law, they were to leave certain portions of their grain in their field for the poor to come in and the hungry and those who were sojourners to come in and they could glean that grain. Ruth does that. She goes back and takes care of business. She's feeding her mother-in-law, taking care of her, making sure she has what she needs. When Boaz sees her, he sees she's taking care of business. So watch this. You attract what you put out. And sometimes people want to date and marry up here, but really your level of handling your business is down here. You are going to attract what you put out. A man or a woman who's up here is looking for somebody who's up here. Even if they don't have the same resources, they're looking for somebody who still has the same work ethic. So what does that look like if I'm single? Pastor, how do I take care of my business? If you are a single man right now, and you are still living at your mother's house. No knock on men living at their mother's house. They got to get their business together. I get it. So I'm not bashing brothers at their mother's house. Maybe your mother is elderly. Maybe you move back in to take care of her. Maybe you just move back to a city and you're in transition. I get it. So I'm not just ragging on brothers who stand at homes with moms. But while you're home with mom, what are you working on in building of your own? You should be building a nest. Birds build nests. Y'all know what I'm saying? You need to be building a nest egg, what we call some finances that put you in a better position to get in your own apartment. Of course, you got to have transportation. These are basics, y'all. But you would be surprised how many people are looking for somebody else to upgrade them, but they aren't willing to do the work themselves to put themselves in a position to get the type of person they're looking for. What does that look like for a woman? If you're single, and there are people who are different stages and different ages, this is an excellent time, singles. Hear me. While we're on lockdown due to COVID-19, don't eat everything in your refrigerator. You need to be exercising. You need to have a regimen that you pray, that you work out, you get spiritually fit, you get emotionally fit, you get psychologically fit. This is a chance for you to take some classes. I want to say this. Don't curse the lockdown due to COVID-19. See it as an opportunity, not an obstacle. And say, God, I thank you that you gave me this time to get myself and my stuff together before you introduce me to the person you have for me. So instead of me feeling sorry for myself because I'm single, I am going to learn how to love you. And out of you loving God, God will teach you how to love and value and treasure yourself, because how you value and treat yourself will determine how other people value and treat you. You cannot put yourself on sale and expect other people to pay high price for you. You cannot put your standards low and expect for people to raise you to a level that they don't see you lift yourself up to. So could it be while you're single, God wants you like Ruth, and I'm going to come back because there's so much to this. Could it be while you're single, God wants you like Ruth to be saved, to be satisfied, and to be focused on structuring your life in a way that you need to put your priorities together. So write those things down. Saved. What does that mean? That means I'm saved. I'm in a good relationship with God. I'm saved from drama in being in a bad relationship. Because there's some people who want to get in a relationship. Then there are people who are in a relationship who want to get out. So sometimes you look at other people in a relationship and you're like, man, I want somebody. Sometimes it's better to be by yourself single so that you can hear your own heart, so that you can feel the pulse. You can check your own mental status and hear your own thoughts and understand how God wired you and who you are. Because when you fully understand what you have to offer, you understand what you will or will not accept, and you know yourself and what will suit you and what doesn't. I want to say this. Shakespeare says, to thine own self be true. If you know there's certain things that are pet peeves for you, issues for you, trouble for you, challenges for you, then here's what you should do. Have a full understanding of who you are, know who you are, and say, you know what? He's cute, but I don't do pets, and he loves dogs. She's cute, but, I just don't think I'm going to fit in with her family context in the way that they always pop up unexpectedly. And I see that's going to be a battle there. This is real stuff, because I want to say this. What's cute now will make you cry later. I know it's cute. Oh, ain't it so cute? He's always taking care of his mother. He's always seeing about her, and she calls him every day. I think that's cute. Well, after a while, it might be a stone or a rock in your shoe that kind of bothers you, because it may be something there that contends with your relationship. So I've given you all, I think, enough to chew on for now. I hope you look forward to the next episode, because I really want to walk you through Ruth. Now, here's my first book, Rules of Engagement, as I close. Rules of Engagement, Strategies for Dating Success. The reason I brought this book out today, I didn't bring Love and Verses out today. The reason I brought this book is because this book really lays out a lot of the story of Ruth. I wrote this book in about 2012. It's still very relevant. There's a couple of things that I will personally maybe touch later on, but get this book, go to my website, Kenneth Sullivan Jr., KenSullivanJr.com. Check out the website. Make sure if you're watching this, you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tell everybody else about it. Y'all watch it together. Also, I want to put this in your ear as well. I want you to go to Bishop's Village. I have been blessed with a platform by Bishop T.D. Jakes at the Potter's House for the Gospel Season 2. And so our church is elated. We're all excited about that. And check that out. Be a part of the fun. That episode airs this coming up Monday. So for the next 5 weeks, you'll have episodes there. Go to Bishop's Village. Watch it. Hang out with your friends. Great entertainment, good encouraging and inspiring messages and content when you go there. And also stay connected with us. Listen, I love y'all. I'll see y'all soon.